But we start with Chelsea. They are searching for a new head coach after Mauricio Pochettino left last night, following just one season in charge. Chelsea's co-owner, Behdad Eghbali, is in London overseeing the search for a new man to lead their side. Right across the story for us is our chief reporter, Kaveh Solhekol, who is with us now. Good evening to you, Kaveh. The dust is maybe starting to settle after what was a bit of a blue bombshell, wasn't it, last night? What about looking to replace Pochettino? What's the move at Chelsea? Who are they looking at?
Well, look, I think at the moment there are four leading candidates to take over from Mauricio Pochettino. But there are a couple of wild cards as well, names that are not in the media yet, but I'm sure they will be pretty soon. The four leading candidates at the moment, the first one that's very interesting is Kieran McKenna, who's done such a fantastic job at Ipswich Town. Now, he's got a contract at Ipswich until 2027, and Ipswich will do their best to hold on to him, and they're planning on having talks with him about his future. Now, it remains to be seen what will happen, because Ipswich are considering offering him a new contract, but there are really big question marks now about whether he would sign a new contract. As far as the Chelsea situation and Kieran McKenna is concerned, is other clubs are interested in him as well. Brighton, we know, are looking for a new head coach, and also potentially the Manchester United job could become available. Earlier today, I was told that there was a bit of sort of confidence building up behind the fact that McKenna could be the next Chelsea head coach. But this afternoon, I've been told, hold on a second, don't get too carried away. Now, the other names on the shortlist, Enzo Maresca. Obviously, he used to work at Manchester City, assistant to Pep Guardiola, went to Leicester. He's got Leicester up from the Championship as champions. His style of play suits the kind of style that Chelsea want to have at Stamford Bridge. Thomas Frank as well on the shortlist. He's got Premier League experience. He's done a brilliant job at Brentford. He plays football on the front foot. He's very good with the media as well. And also a couple of months ago, his set-piece coach at Brentford, Bruno Kaveh, moved from Brentford to Chelsea. Potentially, could we see Thomas Frank following him there as well? Don't rule it out. But other names on the shortlist as well, Sebastian Hoeness. Now, this is an interesting one. He's the manager of Stuttgart. Took over there when they were in relegation trouble. They ended up finishing second in the Bundesliga ahead of Bayern Munich. Other names as well, potential wild cards. Michel at Girona. Got Girona into the Champions League. They're part of the City Football Group as well, so he has links with Manchester City. Another name that's been mentioned to me that I hadn't considered before, Dino Topmöller, who's the Eintracht Frankfurt manager. They finished sixth in the Bundesliga. He used to work with Julian Nagelsmann as his assistant at Leipzig and also at Bayern Munich. So those are the names in the shortlist, and those are some of the wild cards as well who could come on the radar of the men who will decide who will be the next Chelsea head coach.
Let's just talk a bit more about Kieran McKenna there. And he has worked wonders, as you said, back-to-back promotions up into the Premier League. Would he want to finish the job he's started? And you look at what he's done at Ipswich, the security he's got there. Would he want to leave all that for Chelsea?
I think it'd be very difficult for somebody like Kieran McKenna to turn down the Chelsea job, or to turn down the Manchester United job if it becomes available, or the Brighton job as well. I think he's obviously somebody who's ambitious. He's done an incredible job at Ipswich. You would have to say, how many other managers could achieve what he's achieved in such a short period of time? But my sense is that if he was offered the job, he would find it very difficult to turn down.
You've given us some very interesting names there in the frame potentially for Chelsea. But with the greatest respect to all of them, do any of them have a better CV than Pochettino?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure whether they have a better CV than him, but they may turn out to be a better fit for Chelsea than Mauricio Pochettino. We've talked at length about the job that Mauricio Pochettino has done at Chelsea. He's done a good job. He can leave with his head held up high. But ultimately, he didn't fit into the structure that they've built. He wasn't comfortable working in that structure. the fit wasn't quite right, and that's why he's left. That is why the new head coach, the most important thing is that he fits into the structure that the new owners of Chelsea have built. He has to be a head coach. He's not going to be an old-fashioned manager who controls the whole club. Those days are gone. He's got to be somebody who's collaborative, who's collegiate, who's happy working with all the different departments at Chelsea, as well as coaching the first team in the mornings. So I've been told the new man has to be somebody who does all that and also has the personality to go head-to-head with Pep Guardiola, to go head-to-head with Mikel Arteta, because you can't be a shrinking violet if you're manager of Chelsea. It's such a big job that you have to have the personality, not just to impose yourself on that club, take that job on, but also to impose yourself and go head-to-head with the other big name managers, not just in the Premier League, but also in European football.
You talked about the structure of the club there, which takes me on to my final question. Who's making this decision? Who's going to have the final say?
Well, I think, first of all, the decision about who will be the next head coach will be made by the co-sporting directors. They're the ones who are leading this search. Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. They're the ones who are going through all the names. And look, I know the search started yesterday, but obviously they're the co-sporting directors. At clubs as big as Chelsea, you're always planning on what could happen, what would we need to do if we wanted to bring in a new head coach. So they will have files, they will have data on all these candidates. They will be the ones, I think, who will identify the preferred candidate, and they will present that name and they will explain why they feel that person should be the next Chelsea head coach to the ownership group. And that includes Behdad Eghbali, it also includes Todd Boehly. And I've just got a sense that at the moment, it's Behdad Eghbali who is the one who is sort of really calling the shots at Chelsea at the moment. He was in London, I think he arrived on Friday. He was at Old Trafford on Saturday to watch Chelsea win the WSL again under Emma Hayes. He was at Stamford Bridge to watch the game against Bournemouth on Sunday. He was speaking to Pochettino yesterday. So he is very involved in this process as well. I think the process is led by the co-sporting directors, but ultimately the decision will be down to men like Behdad Eghbali and also Todd Boehly.